Hi everyone, I'm Ravi. I'm from FAU and I came up on behalf of material transport and water use case. Just to briefly introduce myself, I'm a PhD researcher in FAU and I have been working on this pilot ever since the last 1.5 years. Without any delays, we'll just get started. This is the brief agenda. I would like to walk you through all these things. I try to maintain this presentation as high level as possible, just considering the audience coming from different backgrounds and so that it's more generic and not too focused on the tiny details of research. But I would like to say about why sediment transport. So sediment transport is the basis for material transport in water. So why do we need HPC in sediment transport? Briefly talk about the current use case in HiDALGO, material transport in water. Then I would like to introduce you a little bit to waLBerla and lbmpy, which are our lighthouse in-house codes that we develop in our department, and also it is in these codes that we have been developing the current use case as well. And also, just so that maybe it could be interesting to the broader audience, I'll also show some of the more applications that we have been working previously. We have worked previously and also we are working currently within our waLBerla framework. So, why sediment transport simulations are necessary in the first place? So, sediment transport is basically, as the name suggests, it's the transport of sediments in a fluid. So these sediments could be, particles, for instance, and there are many different sort of ways or means by which sediments are transported in fluids. So as you can see, transport via air. Fluvial is termed as transport in rivers and streams. So in coastal environments, also in glacial environments, wherein when the glaciers melt, because of the melting, the sediments that are there in the frozen form, once the glacier melts, the sediment starts to transport. And movement of sediment is very important, especially this particular study is especially very important for fish habitats and for other organisms that live in the rivers, extending lives of dams and other hydraulic structures, because sediments are responsible for erosion and things like this. So it is important to have a microscopic understanding of what happens, especially to prevent certain issues pertaining to dams and other civil engineering related structures, hydraulic structures, and also it helps in the study of avalanches. And especially this could be especially very important to be able to predict such phenomenon and to have a sound understanding of such phenomenon, because there are of course a lot of livelihood is there, especially in mountainous and hilly areas. So these pictures are some of the key, real life motivational scenarios that can, that actually is the motivating or the driving factor to why we need to actually study such sediment transport simulations. So the picture on the extreme left is an application of antitudes. Then the next picture on the top right is the riverbed, the typical riverbed that you find in rivers and oceans. And the third picture is something that is of interest recently, especially for researchers and for people who are living in cold areas. So it is called as permafrost thawing. So what essentially permafrost thawing is, because of the global warming and the rising temperatures, the frozen ice with all the sediment and with all dead and decayed organisms, so it is basically starting to melt in areas of the Arctic, especially in the countries like Canada or something that is closer to the North Arctic Circle and so on. So because of these, what happens is that you see that these kind of structures, they just break down, and also it could be harmful, especially if there are any houses that are constructed, it could be potentially dangerous for them. So again, the reason for showing all these is it is very, very important to have a very sound understanding of how sediments and particles are transported. The transport processes is a very important fluid dynamic, or a very important multi-phase study which is a part of computational fluid dynamics. So this is the reason why we actually need to simulate sediments and sediment transport, and that also, or this has been one of the current motivations for the current use case that we have, which is material transport in water. So the use case basically started off with the idea that we would want to enhance the current capabilities of the sediment transport simulations that we have in our software, waLBerla. And the idea is to basically enhance the capabilities to also simulate scalar transport along with the sediments. So for this reason, we were actually interested to know how temperature would actually drive, or how would the temperature actually impact such sediment transport simulations. So this was something that which was not actually done previously in our software framework, and we thought this would fit very well into the current motivation of the HiDALGO of the HiDALGO project. So that is the reason why we actually wanted to extend to the sediment transport simulations to actually incorporate the effects of temperatures, and to actually be able to study what could actually be the effect of temperatures on such very critical and useful problems. So why actually we need to simulate, or what would be the reason, or why could it be interesting to simulate temperatures, is again that it definitely impacts the quality of water, which again impacts the livelihood for the various aquatic organisms that are present in rivers and water bodies. So within the scope of the HiDALGO project, the intention or the idea was to extend our in-house framework waLBerla, which is based on the Lattice Boltzmann method, to be able to simulate such temperature-based simulations along with sediment transport. So this was the motivation for the current use case, and I just want to briefly introduce about waLBerla, which is where we have implemented our current wherein we do all our CFD and multi-phase simulations. So waLBerla is it's a high-performance framework based on C++, and it is capable of a lot of simulations. For instance, particulate flows, which is the crux and core of the current use case. And apart from this, it also has several other capabilities like simulating free surface flows. For instance, this picture of anti-dunes, the topmost left picture that I have shown you, it is one of the typical examples of a free surface simulation. So waLBerla is capable of simulating free surface flows, particulate flows, phase field flows, and also turbulent flows as well, with capabilities of doing mesh refinements as well. So basically, this waLBerla framework also has a Python interface, and with another framework called lbmpy, which basically is our code generation framework for Lattice Boltzmann based kernels. So again, as HiDALGO is all about to be able to use the HPC resources in as an efficient way as possible. That is the reason why we need to have efficient codes, and for this purpose, lbmpy exactly does the job for us to be able to produce efficient C++ kernels, which are automatically generated and which are architecture specific. So it targets the specific architecture, whether it is CPU or GPU, and generates as efficient codes and highly scalable codes. So also, as you can see, so this is one of the examples for a scaling run that we have conducted for fluid particle coupled scenario, and it is capable of scaling on more than 2 to the power of 11 GPUs, and I think this run has been done on the Looney supercomputer. So this is one of the examples, or this is the base of the current use case. This is a riverbed simulation wherein we have particles transported in water, and this is the base of the current use case. It was to extend this particular from this point into incorporating temperatures. So this is basically a very simple visualization and paraview about how the temperatures are basically temperatures of particle and fluid. So the particles and fluid both carry a temperature, and how they interact with each other, and how it's a very simple showcase. And so as things stand currently, this is the status of where we what we could achieve in the last 1.5 years since we have started to. We have actually able to extend our framework significantly into solving such temperature coupled simulations. Yeah, so this is again how it would look like, the velocities of the particles and how they would interact with each other in a riverbed coupled with temperatures. And this is another example of a fluid particle scenario. This is the simulation of antidunes with free surfaces, which has been previously done. And so these are some of the primary reasons for actually being able to getting into the fluid transport or the fluid particle coupled simulations and sediment transport. And till now I just spoke about the motivation, about the use case, what the use case does on a very high level. And now I would just like to basically talk about some other applications which are not related to this use case, but then some of the other applications that are capable of our waLBerla software, so that it might be of interest to some people maybe out here. So this is one of another application, which is basically the simulation of suction buckets. So suction buckets are basically structures that are basically laid on that are necessary that are laid in offshore wind farm installations, and also in such applications there are some issues such as piping erosion and granular fluidization. So because of which, again, it requires leveraging high performance computing resources to simulate such large scale scenarios which have tens and hundreds and thousands of particles. And it is also very difficult to conduct experiments for studying such scenarios, and hence the requirement of simulating or leveraging high performance computers for fluid particle applications becomes extremely necessary. Yet another application that we have is the simulation of wind turbine blades. Now that I don't have a lot of time, I wouldn't go into a lot of detail, but then simulation of counter rotating blades is yet another interesting application that we have in our waLBerla framework. And another one is simulations of laser. It's a laser beam welding application, wherein our framework is used for the prediction of the melt pool and the predictions of the keyhole depths. So basically, in this, the simulations are trying to actually replicate the experimental data that we have from some experts from the industry, wherein they are interested to know how it looks in 3 dimensions. Because experiments are not capable of giving 3-dimensional results, but just images in 2 dimensions. As you can see on the left, we leverage or we use our software to be able to predict such phenomenon. So the last couple of things are just it's not pertaining to the current use case, but it is of. I just wanted to show what are the capabilities of our current waLBerla framework. So yeah, this is the list of some of our research collaborators that we have had over the last few years in terms of the development of waLBerla. And yeah, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you so much. If there are any questions, yeah, please feel free to ask.